win, dude.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
You know
The
what I
whole
mean?
point about it is that the demons wanted the fucking sacred jewel. That's
Okay.
it, right? So it didn't matter whether it would have been Miroku, Sesshomaru, motherfucking, I don't know, Panda Maju, like, right? Like
Panda Maju.
Panda Maju.
That's a t-shirt.
I was going to say, is that her for sure?
Yeah, maybe.
All right. Fucking Shweebs.
What's up,
What's up, my
Shweebs?
little Shweeby woos?
Oh, man.
Welcome back to another episode of Anime Shmanime.
What's up, everyone?
I'm your host, Mikey Lee.
And I'm Jordy Hedderwick. And we got Jay
Senpai.
over there
That's
holding
me.
it down.
That's
Who's
me.
also high as fuck right now.
You're not supposed to point that out until he does something stupid.
That's not true.
But now it's out there, and so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, there it is. You guys can fucking deal with it.
Okay, now we'll let them point it out when he does something stupid, and we don't have to mention it again.
Yeah.
Just about enough.
All right.
What are we talking about today, buddy? Who's this?
Who's this? Okay, before we do that,
Oh, yeah,
spoiler
yeah.
alert.
Obviously.
Right, obviously. So for those of you who have just started watching our show, we're spoiling everything. So go watch Inuyasha if you haven't already.
Yeah, I'm also going to spoil all the shows they love for them. So there's like a double meaning to the spoiler alert. So
A little double entendre.
Yeah.
yeah.
Different type of spoiling going on.
So what am I spoiling for you today, Mikey?
Fuck you, man. You can't spoil this. This is my childhood.
Yeah, well, we'll see by the end of this how you feel.
Okay, so we watched Inuyasha. Well, I rewatched Inuyasha.
Yeah, and I've watched for the first time. I
Yeah.
had the joy of watching for the first time Inuyasha. So I'm going to tell you what it's about from my perspective
Okay,
first.
okay, go for it.
So a girl travels
Yeah.
back in time to feudal Japan where somehow everyone is a wizard or a demon or a critter or something. And there she meets a whiny little dog boy who is a half demon. With an angel complex, and together they form a high school romance and an insufferable team of jewel hunting, demon slaying wizards and critters.
I mean, you're not wrong.
I know. Yeah.
But no, man, it's way more than that. It's like, this is like the precursor to all like Isekai.
Okay.
So, okay, first of all, Isekai, because I know you don't know what the fuck that
I
means.
have no idea what that word means.
It's pretty much otherworldly.
Okay.
Like, or other world.
Okay.
Right? So
yeah,
it's a
you get teleported somewhere
Yeah,
unfamiliar,
teleported.
right?
yeah.
Wait, technically, is this an Isekai? Because
It's still Earth.
Because, yeah, it's like Japan.
As long as it's unfamiliar and as long as the person needs to adapt to an environment that is unwelcoming to them and unfamiliar to them, it counts
Okay.
as isekai.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, then, yes.
Because I thought it was more like time travel. Because most isekais nowadays, you like.
It can be dimensional travel. It can
Yeah.
be time travel. It can be
I guess that's
all
true.
those things. Like as long as you're traveling to somewhere, obviously it doesn't count if you're going to a different country. Like,
Yeah.
that's just a
Oh,
travel.
I'm going to Kentucky.
Yeah.
Here's my isekai
This is my
story.
isekai story in Kentucky.
Yeah. We'll talk later about the time travel
So, okay.
versus dimensional travel because I have some thoughts on that too.
Okay, but before that,
Yeah.
no, I got to defend this because it's like this is one of the like godfathers of isekai. Like this
Okay.
is where, well, maybe not the godfather, but it's definitely one of my formative. Like youth, like when I watched this as a kid, it was awesome.
Okay.
Like, and also really rewatchable nowadays too.
Yeah, well,
Where, like the pacing's
that
pretty good.
remains to be seen. I will say that like one of my main takeaways
Yeah.
from the show was big time nostalgia vibes. That's one positive I'll give it.
Okay.
Huge 90s Sunday morning cartoon vibes.
Yeah, well, totally.
To the point where I was thinking like if I was a kid and found this show when I was like watching cartoons on Saturday or Sunday
Yeah.
morning, I would have been all over this too. As far as holding up, like you said, that's a different story.
What do you mean? The pacing's good. Like, there's a lot of like new character building. And there's character introductions.
Yeah. Not building though.
What do you? There's
Introductions.
definitely okay. First,
We'll
you got to
get-
think. Shut the fuck up for a second.
Okay.
Right? Like they're. It is technically a shonen.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. So it's meant for teenagers.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was a fucking like 12-year-old boy, like Sango was like my jam in this.
Okay. Yeah. Fair enough.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I will say also it should be stated right here that I didn't watch the entire show.
yes.
So I watched the first season, which I think we established gets you to like episode 27 or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So like that's something that's going to be different about this episode than some of the past is what I'm going to do is when there's situations that I think may have been like played out as the series goes on.
Yes.
I'm going to make some predictions.
Okay.
So we'll get to those as we go.
Yeah. I'll see if I can remember because it's been a long time since I watched the entire thing.
Yeah.
Because I only watched up to like the first 1.5 seasons because
Okay,
we
cool.
were recording this.
Yeah, fair enough. So another thing, you touched on something really quick there about it being for teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
One of my biggest questions about the show is this a kid's show? Because like mostly it feels like it's a kid's show, but then there's these moments that are very non-kid friendly, these very dark moments.
Oh, at the beginning of the series, man. Like, especially with the naked centipede lady.
Yeah, that was weird. That was weird. And like,
Really sets the tone, though.
yeah.
Yeah,
There was some
mic
like,
needs to go on.
your mic might be off. Jay's high
Yeah.
as fuck. Moving on.
Strike one. Strike one.
There were
Strike
some
one.
moments, even aside from the graphics, that were like emotionally advanced for a kid,
Yeah.
dude. Like, there's a kid who murders his dad in front of his sister at one point, dude. There's a fucking
Feudal Japan, baby.
Yeah, that's the thing.
There's a
Feudal
monster
Japan is
that
fucked up.
murders a fox's dad and wears it as a belt, and then later on they like get it and carry it around with them for a while. Like, dude, there's some fucking dark moments in the show.
Yeah, absolutely. But like, I mean, the thing is, at that age, you don't really notice the depth of those contents, right? Like, you notice them now,
I guess so.
right? But like when I was a kid, I was like, okay, cool, accept it, Jordy, accept it, and move on.
Well, I'm a grown man and I watched the show for the first time, and so like the nuances of those moments were
Yes,
not lost on me.
That's true.
Yeah.
You know, and I did appreciate some of those nuances and especially the depth in those characters.
Yeah.
Now, rewatching it as an adult,
Sure.
right? Like, especially the fact that, like, you know, the heartache that Inuyasha has to deal with trying to figure out whether or not Kagome is the one or if it's, you know, Kikyo, thank you.
Well,
Right?
we'll have to talk about that when we get later into plot because I have a different opinion than you completely on that situation, dude.
Of course you do.
Yeah,
of course you fucking do.
Yeah.
I honestly can't wait for Jordy's take on it.
All right, well, we'll get there.
Okay.
But before we get there, let's get a little bit of history from Jay
Yeah.
over here.
Yeah, so
Senpai.
Inuyasha.
Teach us, senpai.
Yeah.
Based on the
Notice me.
listen, trying to teach
He
you
needs to
kids.
focus.
Classes in session, okay?
Good.
Based on the Shogakukan award-winning manga of the same name, Inuyasha, translated to Dog Demon, is a 1996 Japanese manga series written and illustrated by Rumiko Takahashi. Inuyasha follows Kagome Higurashi, a 15-year-old girl whose normal life ends when a demon drags her into a cursed well on the grounds of her family's Shinto shrine, which I always thought was cool. They have a Shinto shrine on their property. Like,
Yeah.
who? Like what? That's awesome.
That's a trend in two of the titles we've covered already is like the family is the caretakers of a shrine.
shrine.
Yeah.
So
Right.
would we call that a trope?
Yeah, I mean, and I guess you could.
Yeah.
In some cases, I mean, like Sailor Moon, there was a girl fucking taking care of a shrine.
Must be a thing.
Well, it's big.
Maybe not a
Yeah.
trope. Maybe just a big cultural point in Japan.
That's true. That's a good point,
Big
yeah.
cultural
You know?
part.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so instead of hitting the bottom of the well, Kagome ends up 500 years in the past during Japan's violent Sengoku period with the demon's true target, a wish-granting jewel called the Shikon Jewel. Everybody's favorite little item.
Not everybody's.
Reborn inside of her. It was reborn inside of her.
Yeah.
After a battle with a revived demon accidentally causes the sacred jewel to shatter, much to everybody's happiness, I'm sure, in that first
Yeah.
fucking little bit there.
You could say that.
You know exactly where the show's going after that, right?
Totally. Monster of the week.
Kagome enlists the help of a young hybrid dog demon human named Inuyasha to help her collect the shards and prevent them from falling into the wrong hands. Joining Kagome and Inuyasha on their quest are the orphan fox demon Shippo, the intelligent monk Miroku, and the lethal demon slayer Sango. Together, they must set aside their differences and work together to find the power-granting shards.
Hang on, can we stop for a second? Because we also need to set aside our differences to get through this. But yeah, it's kind of the story of us.
Or you can fucking accept it.
It's kind of the story of us. All these animes are the shards, and we have to set aside our differences to like find them all and get our way through it.
Yeah. And then it's going to be complete. And I'm going to have the power because you're going to know that anime is the fucking best medium out there.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to just watch a season of the show and we're going to talk about it and that'll be the end. And I'll never watch it again. Sorry to interrupt you, Jay. Please
okay.
proceed.
That's okay. So yeah, Sunrise handled the anime adaptation of Gundam fame. You'd know Sunrise, Escaflowne, things like that. So the first series was broadcast for 167 episodes from October 2000 to September 2004. The second series, Inuyasha, The Final Act, ran for 26 episodes from October 2009 to March 2010, covering the rest of the manga series. 4 feature films and an original video animation have also been released.
Yeah, this has been going on for a long time.
It seems like a lot of these shows have that in common.
Yeah, well, manga in general go forever. It's not like it's like we're all comic book fans too, but it's not like, you know, manga, where do you start? You start at number 1, but we're comic books is like, do you start at like, you know, 1986 number 1?
Which
X-Men?
run?
Yeah, in a comic
like,
book, the story arcs stand alone more than in a manga, I guess, right?
And
so
there's more of them, right? Like there's one Inuyasha manga.
Yeah.
that's it.
One.
And you can't just pick an arc out and read it. It won't make sense to you necessarily.
Maybe not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's
You
best
wouldn't want
not
to do that anyways. Yeah.
Yeah. As far as the United States airing the show, that was on Adult Swim and later on the revived Toonami block from 2002 to 2015. So yeah, there's your little
Thank
background
you,
on
senpai.
the
Thanks.
show. You're welcome.
Senpai.
That's me.
Are you just fucking with them now? Okay. Okay. Well done.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so I guess we'll give Jay a break so he can chill, and we'll move on. And we're going to talk about the world first,
We're
right?
going to talk about the world. Okay.
So my first thought is we're in feudal Japan, right?
Yeah, feudal
and
Japan.
There's
With
demons,
mythical creatures.
demons and magic.
Yes.
Got that. But there's way more demons than regular people. In fact, like very few regular people. Like everyone we meet is a demon or can do magic. What's the deal with that?
Well, okay, let me address that. The main characters and the people that they have to like get in conflict with are going to have to be something fantastical.
Okay.
The normal people are going to be they're just there as background characters. They're extras.
I get that. Okay, so here's the reason why I bring that up then, okay? Why are we in feudal Japan? There's no evidence of feudal Japan in the show. Not one samurai, not one ronin. It's all demons and magic. It could have been another dimension and it would have been fine.
The aesthetic is
the aesthetic
Japan,
is very feudal Japan.
Fair enough. I get that.
And like the priest robes, like the white and red.
Sure.
Tetsaiga's hilt is a katana hilt.
Okay. My point only was that like if you're gonna give me feudal Japan, give me a samurai. One fucking samurai.
So this honestly, let me cut in real quick. This speaks to what I was saying before about like this not being a simple journey back in time. Like this is a true teleportation to a foreign land. This isn't just regular feudal Japan. You know, of our Earth. This is a different feudal Japan.
So you're saying in the storyline, she's not actually just gone back in the timeline. She's gone back and side to a different dimension. Because that was never explained.
Well,
so they just keep saying back in time.
I think it's implied by the lack of regular people.
Okay.
And
Again,
you got to make they work on assumptions, right? Exceptions. So
but this is a kids show, so exceptions I get for kids. They can't assume that kids are gonna make these assumptions, right? Like I'm a grown man, and I was like, what the fuck's happening here? Like,
I think they assume the kids won't care that much.
Yeah.
okay,
the
well, I
kids won't
cared and
care.
it annoyed me. So, not to mention, like, give me a samurai. Would that have been that hard? You know what I mean? It would have been cool. They could have written it in. It would have been dope, and they just didn't bother.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
So again, if it's just for the
in a lot of ways, Sesshomaru kind of represents a little bit of like a Ronin kind of character.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
got
but
like
he's
that
also-
nobility.
but he's a
kind of-
demon and does magic, and he's just
Yeah.
not a samurai. So yeah, maybe he represents that.
Yeah, and he fights with a
he's-
sword.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
also kind of emo.
What?
Sesshomaru
Yeah.
is totally emo.
Not in the first season, maybe. Maybe he gets emo later.
No, even in the first season where he's like, you know, I deserve, like he feels entitled, but then is sad because you know he doesn't have the sword Tetsaiga,
I didn't get
he
sadness
loses
from
his
him, to be
fucking
honest
arm.
with you. I didn't get sadness from him. Like, sad as in, like, pathetic.
Yeah,
not sad-
Whoa.
Keeping in mind, I only watched one season, okay? He
whoa,
probably
whoa,
gets
whoa,
intense,
whoa.
I'm sure. He probably gets intense.
How about
Yeah.
you say that to his demon form when it's drooling acid drool on
yeah,
you?
fucking
Yeah.
toxic.
Okay,
venom,
well, whatever. Maybe I'll,
poison.
How about that?
maybe I'll pull Tsusaga out of the stone because apparently
Fucking
regular people can do
poison
that.
miasma.
And I'll kill him with that. His bad smell air.
Yeah, his bad breath air.
Yeah. Anyways.
No fucking bad smell. For those of you who didn't know
Yeah.
that reference, it's fucking from Silent Library.
Are you high?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought I was the one who smoked before this.
I just started stuttering out of nowhere.
Yeah, and we can move on from the world.
Yeah,
my
okay.
my main point was that I get now that for art's sake, it's feudal Japan, but for everything else's sake, it's not.
But it's also a classic art style too, right? With
Yeah.
that world.
I'm agreeing. For art's sake, it's feudal Japan.
fine.
For the rest of the plot, the story, the characters, and everything else that drives the TV show,
Yeah.
it is not.
Yeah, no, the feudal Japan
Yeah.
plays 0% into the story.
Yeah, totally.
It's
Yes.
just kind of like where
It's
it
just the
happens.
setting.
It just seems to me
Yeah.
like a missed opportunity. If you're going to say, we're going back to feudal Japan, like you could use feudal Japan.
Introduce some feudal Japan issues that
Yeah.
they may have gone through
Totally.
during feudal. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
A
then
lot
I
of
think at
opportunities.
that point it would become a timepiece, right? Like a timepiece anime where it's not.
I thought that's
about-
what it was.
No, man.
She literally travels back in time.
And sideways.
and sideways.
Never discussed.
but
it's
that was
fantasy.
never
Like,
made
it's-
apparent to
it
me.
has-
Listen,
Always
so here's
been.
the deal, right? Here's another way to look at it, right?
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings, right?
Sure.
How much of that looks like, Norse history or
Sure.
or European history, right?
Yeah.
But like, it's obviously not.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
like, the aesthetic still works.
But
It
they
still
tell you it's
serves.
not.
Do they?
Yeah, it's
You
Middle
know.
Earth. It's a different place in time.
Okay, well. So you would have just liked a different terminology
Yeah.
for where
I'm
she
just
was
saying-
traveling
No,
to.
no, no,
need
no.
Things
Listen.
fucking spelt out for you, man.
I'm just saying.
Semantics.
I'll say it one more time and then we'll move on.
Yeah,
She goes to
semantics.
feudal Japan, and yeah, it looks like feudal Japan,
Yeah.
but there's no feudal Japan elements aside from the way it looks.
Yes, but
and
that's
it.
Okay, yeah,
Isn't
but
that a
that's
huge
just,
element, though?
Yeah.
Sure, yeah, okay, it is. Okay, we can probably move on from this one part. I just saying it was a missed opportunity. Samurais are cool. There's a lot of shit going on in feudal Japan, and they just made the buildings look like that, and that's
there-
it. Okay,
You got to think too, like Inuyasha himself is kind of like a Ronin, right? He's trying to protect.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Right?
Because
Yeah.
no, I'll give you that because he's a demon who's not acting like a demon should act, right? So
Yeah.
he's kind of like a lone wolf kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Okay, I'll give you that.
See, thank you.
Let's move the fuck on.
Thank
This is
you.
ridiculous.
Ridiculously good.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's for you to decide, Shweebs.
Yeah.
That's for you to decide.
Well, I mean, most of our Shweeb army is going to be fucking on my side anyway, or Senpai side.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think we're gonna get a lot of people watching the show who are gonna be agreeing with me. We'll see though.
No, you know what?
Yeah.
Growing up, this was a divisive one, man. Like,
Was it?
Yeah, because I had some friends who, like me, absolutely adored this show.
Yeah.
And then I had some friends that were just like, not in a million fucking years am I gonna watch that.
Yeah.
You know? So
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of trash anime out there for sure, but
Fair
I
enough.
still watch it anyway.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. So what you're saying is your opinion can't be trusted. Moving on now. So we're
Fuck
talking
you.
about the art now.
I'll edit that out. Don't worry.
So we're talking about art now. I mentioned before the animation's very old school, very 90s vibes, Saturday
Yeah.
morning cartoon vibes. Really dug that.
Yeah.
Really dug that. And like I said before, if I found this when I was a kid, I'm a fan, dude.
Yeah.
I'm a fan.
Dude,
Because there's cool things in there.
It still holds up to animation now, though. I think,
Yeah.
right? Like as long as you can go in accepting that, yeah, this was made in the '90s, 2000s. Like,
Sure.
this is like even compared to what I'm watching now, as far as like My Hero, for example, right? Like you can see the differences as far as how polished My Hero is.
Sure.
But it doesn't. This doesn't have anything that takes away from it.
No, I didn't find the art style at all to be jarring. It was just like easy to watch. It was cool. And again, because I'm a Saturday morning cartoons from the 90s kid, it fell right into everything I used to watch. You know what I mean?
It's really good. Like, 90s hand-drawn animation had like something about it. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And I think a big thing, like compared to a lot of modern anime as well, is when this came out, like there was obviously a lot of anime, but not nearly as much as today. And the big issue they're having today is there are too many shows and not enough animators.
Interesting. So they all kind of end up looking the same.
So, well, not only that, but what ends up happening is they'll call in keyframe animators who are really, really good artists, really well known in the industry, who will just come in and give you a few hours of their time, give you a few really well drawn frames, and then all the other frames in between, you have to basically hand off to cheaper, newer, younger artists who are trying to prove themselves, and are given insane deadlines
to replicate. And
so that's why some things like the new Dragon Ball series, like you can pause certain frames in the new Dragon Ball series, and it's like a 5-year-old drew this.
Interesting.
Like it's that bad.
Whereas this is just a show full of pros, frame for frame, just killing it.
It's people that had a good amount of time. They weren't under time crunches. They weren't overworked. And they were doing it by hand beautifully.
Totally.
You know?
Again, the look of it was great. I'm not sure if this is an art thing necessarily, but I want to talk about the fight scenes for a second. Because at first, they're really good, dude.
Oh, okay.
They're epic, okay?
Okay.
And like the first episode especially was like really cool. But they get stale.
Okay,
I'll
agree with
really
you there.
Stale.
I'll agree with you
There's
there.
also a thing, and I'm going to guess this is a trope, of like saying the name of your move before you do it.
I knew it. Yeah, I knew that was going to come.
Because Iron Reaver Soul Stealer, it has nothing to do with
Reaver Soul Stealer.
Dude, there's no iron.
Oh yeah, that's
There's
right. Because you fucking watched it in dub.
Actually, I did a little bit of both.
Oh,
I did a little bit of both.
Good.
I'm doing
I'm
that with
glad you got a
everything.
little
I'm doing that
taste.
with everything from this point. But I did watch most of it in dub. I'll be honest with you. But just going back to Iron Reaver Soul Stealer again, like if there's no iron involved. I don't know what Reaver is, and he doesn't steal souls. Like, it's just like a swipe with his claws. Why is it even named that? And why does he have to say it every time he does it?
Okay, that one I will give you. That's just like a shonen, like Power Rangers, like
very Power Rangers-y. We'll get into that later too.
Right? Because it's like, for especially it being a shonen geared towards, like a 12-year-old boy.
Yeah.
Or right, like you want to feel cool, like powering up.
It's
right?
like I see what you're saying.
Kamehameha.
You almost want the kids out on the
It's like a
schoolyard.
branding. Kids are going to scream that as they play fight each other.
Exactly.
Okay.
Right. And then especially for marketing and toys, like I can totally see that being.
They could have just picked something that like actually describes what he's doing though. Dog claw face swipe.
Well,
would have
like
worked
we've
for
seen
me,
some
you know what I
pretty
mean?
bad translations, and especially like stuff like this, the localization to North America, probably wasn't very good.
Yeah, I'd be curious to think if it's more applicable in the Japanese terminology than it is translated into English. I don't know if that's a thing or not.
But honestly, I do get it though. Like anytime I do watch an anime, and especially like something like this, where they're really hitting you hard right at the beginning.
Yeah.
Really cool. Like even the animation gets a little bit more like softer.
Okay, that I didn't notice, but I believe it. Yeah.
Right, and like right at the beginning with the centipede demon, and then the girl with the hair.
I fucking hate that girl, dude.
Oh, dude, I remember reading the manga, and I'm like, this is dark too.
Hair, man. Yeah. Why hair? No, there's like a hair thing in this show, dude. There's that weird like Killer Lakitu catfish motherfucker who like also like is desperate about growing his hair. I'm like, what's the deal with hair in this show? That was a little much.
But what I'm saying though is that they capture you. Like I think a lot of series do this. Like I mean. Like when I watched a Game of Thrones, right? Like the first season was fucking nuts, right? And then
totally.
But then as it got, more and more, and then like it just kind of got stale.
Well, with those shows, I think part of the reason is a first season gets made because you don't know if you're going to get a second one. So you make your first season and you cap it off and you want it good. You know what I mean? But then as you start, then you notice your fan base growing and you're probably going to get renewed. Then now you're on your toes. Do you see what I mean? You're on the fly. Yeah. Whereas I don't know if that's the case with this.
I feel like that's the case with this too, right?
Well,
like
I only watched one season. Put that in mind too, right?
Yeah. So
So that shouldn't have happened in one season.
What happens with a lot of these, and especially around this time, was these were originally appearing as like a manga short in Shonen magazine, right?
Okay.
And basically, once they got popular enough and they reached the top of the pile,
Right.
they would get serialization.
Okay.
Which meant you're signed on now for not necessarily like a predetermined amount of time. It could go on as long as the demand is there now.
Well, and this show's genius for that too, because the concept of shattering the jewel and the shards flying, they didn't say how many pieces they were.
That's
They
right.
could find fucking jewel powered demons for fucking ever.
Yeah.
And then each shard that shattered could then shatter itself further as well.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah. Who knows how? Plus, then they their shards get stolen by other demons. They got to find them again.
Well, and that's the thing, right? Like this is where the whole Power Ranger things comes in.
It's Monster of the Week,
Yeah,
dude.
it's Monster of the Week.
Big time, which
right?
I'm not a huge fan of, as we've established before, which is part of the reason why this show was hard for me to just keep watching.
Well, here's the great thing about monsters is if you go out and you look for your own monsters, guys, and you find that monster and you hold their hands and they take you to YouTube, there's a little button called subscribe.
You're a fucking sneaky motherfucker.
Sneaky man.
Right? Support us. Yeah.
Throw him a bone, guys. Subscribe after that.
Yeah, that was worth at least a like at the very
Yeah,
least.
a like or whatever. Man, I don't fucking care. You guys do your thing. Yeah, I love you.
Yeah.
My little Shweebs.
We're
But
Shweeb fans here. Yeah. I guess the only other section before we get deep into it is the music. And honestly, I had no notes on the music. And I don't know if that's good or bad. It just was there.
Yeah,
it served its purpose.
I feel like the old 90s and early 2000s shonen, they reuse and recycle a lot of samples and stuff like that. And there isn't. I've never
same three songs always.
Again, didn't even notice with this show. It just kind of flew. Everything that was under the umbrella of music just flew under the radar.
Well, not to mention back then too. I don't think the anime intro music now is fucking amazing. That's all I listen to is anime intro music or Lisa. Give me all of it.
Yeah.
Right.
Get this man a tissue.
He's gushing over here.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So, but back then, I don't think the artists, really knew how to make it super. And also, the music gets a little bit dated too.
Yeah.
Right. But so I'll give you that one.
Yeah, there just wasn't much to say about it. It was fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
It did its job.
Yeah,
so I guess we'll get into it then. We're going to talk plots and story arcs now.
yeah.
Okay. So let's start at the very beginning of the show.
Okay.
Was great. The fight scene right off the bat, the whole overall first episode was very intriguing to me. It gave me really high hopes. Why are you staring at me like that? You're waiting for me to crush your dreams, dude.
And I was I just always have my back up with you.
Okay, chill. We'll get there. Just wait. It will happen.
I can't relax.
It'll be more fun if you do, though.
podcast.
Okay, it'll be more fun if you do. So the one thing that happened right off the bat is Inuyasha dies, which right away I was like, "What the fucking?" That show's named after him, and so I was like, "Okay, he's not dead."
Yeah.
And as I watched the show, I learned they use that tool a lot. They make you think someone's dead, mostly Kagome, and then by the end of the episode, she's not. And that again, that's when it was just Inuyasha, it was fine, but as they kept using that mechanism, they got really old for me, real fast. Like a bunch of times they used that. So here's another thing. One of my predictions: that's going to keep happening the whole way the show goes.
Yeah.
Listen, I'll make it easy for you.
Okay.
Where it leaves off,
Yeah.
ride that out till the end.
Yeah.
That doesn't.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. So
They do that till they fucking fight Miroku.
Yeah.
okay, well, I'm good then. I'm good with the show. So I will say that it was cool having the different openings for the two main characters. So Inuyasha has a crazy brutal fight and it's intense and there's demons and shit. And then Kagome has this cute little house and her brother's cute and her cat's cute as fuck.
Yeah.
And her uncle's weird but also cute with a mummified imp foot, which was weird.
That was an uncle. That was a grandpa.
Sorry, you're right. Here's her grandpa.
Yeah.
And that being said, too, that also set up like a way that they could explain her coming and going. Her uncle was like kind of into it because he like knows about the lore and like is into that shit.
And like believes in the mythology.
And starts like faking weird illnesses for her to have. So like
she's got diarrhea.
Yeah, exactly.
For like a week.
So that was funny.
But
So
actually, sorry to interrupt, but like that's one of the things that I really did appreciate rewatching this is the mechanic that she was able to go back and forth between worlds.
Yeah.
Because in a lot of isekai, the biggest trope is that they go into the world and that's it,
Yeah.
right? They don't ever really either come back or they stay in that world.
If they do come back, the show's over.
Yeah, the show's
Like,
over.
Yeah.
And they always, and here's the other thing, they always end up being like, once they go into that world, like they're so fucking overpowered.
Yeah.
Right? Like this main character is just overpowered and he just destroys everything and doesn't matter. But like with Kagome, she's there, she's still like freaking out. Like she's still just a girl.
yeah.
Right? Just a teenage girl. Like sure, once in a while she gets to like, you know, shoot a bow and it has some,
or she's like dead, but not dead.
but like she still relies on a lot of people because she's not this overpowered character that's just gonna like decimate everything.
So that being said, this is you just like hit on my exact next point. So like I did like that she was able to come back and forth. I didn't really understand why. Like, why did she even get in there in the first place? The skeleton, like centipede demon brought her in.
Yeah.
But like, why?
pulled her in,
Why did that demon pull her in, and how?
Okay, because that demon was able, which I know, don't you fucking start with me, was not explained.
Yeah.
That it came out of the well.
Yeah.
And then, but because she was the reincarnation.
Yeah, I know that. She's Kiki's reincarnation. She has the jewel. But like, again, this like rando demon just like figures out how to pull her in from like, why that demon? Why now? That was like ridiculous to me. I was like, okay, I guess
Story's got to start somewhere.
somewhere,
right?
yeah.
I know, but like you could put a little more effort into it and give me like some substance there in the beginning of the story, right? This is the origin of the story, and you gave me a naked skeleton centipede demon.
Well,
That's the
technically
origin.
the origin.
You're talking about a girl who has a Shinto shrine on her property.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
a grandfather who's deeply entrenched in the mythology and the occult or whatever you want to call it, right?
And she's the reincarnation of Kiki and
she's
has
a
the jewel.
reincarnation and she's looking after the Shinto shrine.
Yeah.
If anybody's getting ripped into the fucking different dimension through a shrine, it's probably going to be Kagome.
So how about this then? Just give me, just bear with me for a second. Instead of the fucking weird naked centipede demon, make it just Sesshomaru. Make it Miroku. Give me some meat on that part of the story.
No, but the thing is,
Make it someone who is important.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
Because otherwise it could have been the Killer Lakitu. It could have been the Killer Lakitu. It could have been the fucking giant yellow sperm. Any of those demons could have pulled her in, dude.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. The whole point about it is that the demons wanted the fucking sacred jewel. That's it, right? So it didn't matter whether it would have been Naraku, Sesshomaru, motherfucking, I don't know, Panda Maju, like... right? Like
Panda Maju.
Panda Maju.
That's a t-shirt.
I was going to say, is that our first shirt?
Yeah, maybe.
No
Okay,
explanation.
so I get what you're saying.
Right,
To me, I just think that like how much better would it have been if it was Sesshomaru? Because again, an important character, a strong, powerful demon, okay, a strong will to get the jewel.
Bro, you're a fucking teenage
That's what I'm
girl.
saying.
Keep
You're a
hyping
teenage
up my
girl.
boy, Sesshomaru.
Yeah, you're a
you.
teenage girl. You're not gonna have. It won't matter. Any fucking demon's gonna be strong.
I'm not. I understand what you're saying.
Listen, I kind of agree. Like, I don't mind it being I don't mind the demon itself, the one that pulls her in, being a throwaway demon, but tie it back to like who sent that demon. Was this an extension of Miroku?
Okay,
Was this something that Sesshomaru
that would
set
give us
in
a little,
A
place,
little
right?
bit of meat,
Yeah.
because otherwise
Sure.
it was just a throwaway origin story. And here's another thing,
It makes
dude.
the whole thing feel very circumstantial.
That demon not only was like not a special demon, but also like, okay, now she has this random 14-year-old girl from like the future, the real world or whatever in feudal Japan. She's trying to get the jewel and she just fucking can't. This 14-year-old girl is just running away from her and like winning. Like, again, this is a shit demon to me. So that, again, a better demon. Like, how much better would it have been if it was Sesshomaru in the first episode? Okay. And she's running away and then she finds, and then fucking our boy Inuyasha has to save her from Sesshomaru. Right off the bat, dude. You're setting up the story. Okay. You're giving us an intro to an important character. Again, that's to me that feels like a better origin story. Not like I'm saying I'm going to go write a manga now or anything like that. I'm just saying like that part felt a little weak to me.
Okay, I'll agree with you. It could have been introduced a little bit better and set up a little bit better, but you got to still understand this is still a shonen and it's geared towards 12-year-old boys.
Sure.
And back then when this first aired, Power Rangers was huge. All that kind of like all that stuff, like Monster of the Week was what was keeping it going, right?
Sure.
Like same with like when Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh, like it was Monster of the Week, right? Like I mean, fucking Pokemon even does it at their break. It's like, what's that Pokemon?
I understand.
like
I get it. The thing is what the I'm not.
What's that Pokemon?
It's Panda Maju. I'm. I guess in the end, like I'm not a huge fan of Monster of the Week, so it bothered me that the first demon you meet is just a Monster of the Week. You know what I mean? I was like, maybe give me some meat and then get into Monster of the Week so that you can prolong your long game story. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, so we need to move on because we're still in the first episode and I have another important point that confused the shit out of me. Why is this fucking jewel even inside her? So I understand she's the reincarnation of Kiki, okay?
Yeah.
I get that part. But like, why does a solid object reincarnate with a soul in a brand new body?
I don't know, because it's a fucking soul. This is like magic, man. You can explain everything away with magic.
I don't like that at all either. Okay?
I think something has to be said though, that like she's supposed to be the guardian of this jewel.
That's also
Who
true.
is?
Like
Kagome
and all Kikyo, and then therefore Kagome by extension.
Okay,
right?
so you're saying there's some sort of magical thing that Kikyo did because they burned her or something, right? When she died?
I think there's something inherent that like she's destined to be the guardian and keeper of the stone. So if there's any safe place for this stone itself,
it's in her literal body
to be transported to. It would be in the body of Kikyo.
Yeah.
Her, you know.
I just didn't understand how it got there. It's like suddenly they're like, "Oh, the jewel's in me," and she's bleeding, and they're like,
you know what's funny?
The mechanic has to be magic.
Yeah,
it has to be. But again, like if the mechanic's magic, you're not writing very well. Do you know what I mean? Like to me, like when the mechanic is just
a
it's magic.
12-year-old boy isn't gonna care.
You keep talking as if 12-year-old boys are fucking idiots and don't give a shit, dude. Just because you're a 12-year-old boy doesn't mean you don't deserve a good story.
Okay, fine, fair. I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one. But like, here's the thing.
Tell me the thing, please.
Okay, here's the thing.
Yeah.
With stuff like this, I feel like I can suspend a certain amount of disbelief, right? Because it's like even when she got like the centipede monster bit out the stone out of her or jewel out of her body, you know, she like healed super fast.
Okay.
Right? But it's weird when I see someone like fucking what's his name? Miroku, thank you. You know, there's that one where he kidnaps Kagome, but also knows how to ride a bicycle out of nowhere.
I don't remember that, but that was weird. They did kind of introduce that she's bringing things from the future into the past element. I wish they used that a bit more because I actually thought that was clever.
Yeah.
She like would bring a snack or like again the bicycle like things like that. Yeah.
Or like ramen.
Yeah.
Right? Like that, like instant ramen fucking wicked.
Yeah. I thought that was cool.
I want some ramen now.
Maybe we should get some ramen after.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on for a bit. I want to talk for a bit about the whole concept of Monster of the Week because we touched on it a bit.
Okay.
Probably already we've hit all my points, but the what was interesting is the mechanism they wrote to introduce this whole theme, the Monster of the Week, was that jewel, right? So at first I'm like, are they going to lose this fucking jewel to every creature they come across? Because in the first couple episodes before it shatters, to me it's just like, I got the jewel. Oh no, the demon has it. I got the jewel. Oh no, this demon has it. Yeah. And I was like, this is going to be fucking ridiculous. And then it ended up being ridiculous, but for a different reason, because as we all know, the jewel shatters. And the shards go fucking everywhere, okay? And now every demon that they meet is like super powered because it has a shard of the jewel, right? At one point, I think Shippo, who we'll get into later, who I fucking hate with a passion.
Why?
She just rubs me the wrong way. He rubs me the wrong way, dude. Yeah. Just like the most annoying, the most useless character, adds nothing to the story.
You need to have that cute, like...
You don't, though. You don't have to have that, dude.
It's like a ragtag group of kids who fucking need to go fight demons. Like, might as well have like an infant demon.
He just didn't help.
Believe it or not, Jordy, like that token character in the crew does have a huge fan appeal to a certain demographic. People
I don't know, dude.
Adore those.
I did not adore
cute,
it, dude.
Floating around, popping around, somehow defying gravity, always.
Okay.
They love that. They love
Yeah.
that.
It didn't do it for me.
I think it's a very anime thing.
For sure it is.
You're probably
Like,
right.
For sure it is.
So,
You're
and
probably
that's
right.
why.
Yeah.
Right. And so, but I mean, you also have like later on in the first season, right? Like Miroku using the shards and giving them away to like people to try to fucking kill Inuyasha.
And that
or,
was
like,
a cool
really
way
fucking-
to change the monster of the week a little bit. And if we're going to talk Power Rangers again, it's the same way that Rita throws a monster down to earth. Right. And it does some shit and the Power Rangers beat it. And she goes, "Nah, monster's not powerful enough." And she throws her staff down and now it's huge. So like that's kind of what Miroku was doing with the shards, right? There's these
little
like
bit,
demons who are like, "Nah, they're okay demons, but let's make it powerful and see what we can do." So that was okay.
But he usually does it beforehand. Though,
That's true.
right?
I know. I'm just using it as an example, like the way that it made the mechanism a little bit stronger so that they could use it longer without burning it out.
Yeah.
So the reason I brought up Shippo is because at one point she says something, I wrote it down. She says like, there's more shards of the... What's that?
I believe Shippo's a boy.
Shippo's
You're
a
probably
boy.
right. I couldn't remember. He says there's more shards of the jewel than there are stars in the sky, and I'm like, fuck, this show's gonna go on for fucking ever, dude. There's demons forever, and like, so I want to touch on some of the demons because they're like ridiculous, and I think it's worthwhile touching on them.
I know
Yeah.
it's a
So-
very specific demon that you're going to probably talk about.
I'm
Okay.
excited to hear if you bring up the one I'm thinking.
We
of.
talked about Hair Bitch,
Yes.
who
Yeah.
was like one of my least favorites. There's the
Why?
fucking.
She was one of the best ones.
You
thought
just
she
like
was,
her
like-
because she was hot. She was weird, dude.
She was well designed though.
Yeah,
and,
she
and
was.
her gimmick, you have to admit, as weird as her gimmick was, it was unique.
hair
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
floating zombies.
Hair, floating
The-
zombies, and also like the fact that you had to find the specific skull and like kill the skull.
Yeah.
Or, like crush the skull in order to kill
was a
her.
great
Yeah,
fight.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, it was okay. I'll give you that.
And it
I
had
think
that
really, to be honest with you,
spooky-
I was just annoyed by the hair.
You have some weird thing about hair,
Well, I
man.
have hair and it gets places, and I know what that feels like. And so as I'm watching it, I'm like, I don't want that to happen. So I didn't.
So it's your own personal trauma with your
Probably,
own
but I'm
long
allowed to have my
hair.
opinions. Moving on. There's the weird Lord Frog Mummy who was fucking ridiculous, dude.
Yeah.
That's my one of my favorites.
Also, dude, how no one realized this guy's a frog? Like,
I know.
Yeah.
You don't just wrap a giant frog up in a sheet and oh, that's my husband. No, he's a frog now, and you fucking know he's a frog. You know what I mean? And like the weird shit was happening in that episode, dude. Like at one point, he like a bunch of like tadpole women swam into his mouth. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And in the dub, his voice was ridiculous, dude. Like I
Oh,
could not
really?
stop laughing at his fucking voice. Then there's the Thunder Bros, which I affectionately mentioned earlier as the Killer Lakitu catfish. And they kill Shippo's dad, which was like twisted as fuck.
Yeah. Well, that was the one, like the brother that like doesn't have any hair that wants hair.
Yeah, but he's also a catfish who floats on a cloud. Like, who is writing this, man? It's bizarre, man. I mean, I guess like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are weird too, right?
Yeah, let's be real here, and like they're one of my favorites.
Yeah,
so-
okay. Anyways, just really quickly, there was like a weird mask thing who like reminded me of No Face from Spirited
Spirited
Away.
Away.
There's the Soul Piper who I mentioned earlier as the giant yellow sperm.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then there's the weird old spider dick who's like literally looked like a dick and somehow is also the spider and the web. I don't understand a lot of that, to be honest with you. And then there was like some episodes that you could just skip. Like there was one where there was like a guy who's like an artist.
Yeah. There's
Oh, yeah,
full blown
yeah.
filler, man.
Coulda just skipped that.
Anything that gets serialized and
Yeah.
And that's
Well,
Monster of the Week too, dude.
Yeah, but especially like shonens, like they're gonna have fillers. Like
Yeah.
if we end up doing a fucking Naruto episode, I
Please
mean,
no.
yeah,
You're
like,
gonna have to make me a watch list if we do that because I don't know. I don't think I can stand that much filler.
I don't know if we can do it, man.
I've
honestly,
been watching that show for like a decade, dude.
It does get
Yeah.
better.
No, there's literally
It's a good
yeah,
show, but
yeah.
it'll take a decade.
Yeah,
Alright.
I'm going to digress here for a second.
Yeah, do.
There is literally seasons where Naruto, it's like it's not even about Naruto because it's just filler.
Yeah.
and about like other like ninja tribes or whatever, and it's like, we can't. I don't know if we can do that one. I don't know if I want to do that one.
No, no.
We don't have to.
Yeah.
The last one I'll bring up is the dude who vomits wolves. Which was also kind of bizarre. Again, who's writing the shit? So I have a prediction here to throw out there.
Yeah.
In the end, and we're going to talk about the jewel now,
Okay.
they must get all the shards at some point. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay, so now following through with that prediction rather, Inuyasha is going to transform into full demon, but only for a bit in order to defeat probably Naraku, and then he's going to go back to his half state, probably for Kagome's sake. Did I nail it?
I don't know. I don't remember, Jay.
Honestly, like that. it's hard to like.
Does he go full demon or full human? Because that's a dilemma he has, right?
Yeah.
Like that was the reason he wanted the jewel in the first place.
I don't remember him going full demon, but like the way that that things kind of go towards the end is like it gets very kind of all over the place and a little crazy as they kind of scramble to wrap things up.
Okay,
and like the full reassembling of the Shikon jewel isn't by them; it's by Miroku is the one who does.
Oh,
it,
interesting.
I mean? So like it.
Okay,
I'm not going to go into the full details of how it ends, but like,
sure.
Like, I mean, the series is what 130 episodes.
Yeah,
and that's not including all the fucking movies.
Yeah,
right. So
yeah,
right. Like it's long. It's like it's a shonen.
Yeah,
right. So
yeah, okay,
but,
fair enough. Anyways, that was my prediction, and it's a shame actually if they didn't get into it because from the one season I watched, a lot of his whole conflict with this jewel is becoming full demon or full human. And so if they never really resolved that, like that annoys, they made like a big deal out of that.
Yeah, but that's the thing. This is where I say like the character development comes into play because, at first it was, all about Inuyasha becoming the full demon, getting the jewel. And now it's about how his feelings for Kagome has grown and his struggle between, his feelings for Kikyo and Kagome, the past, and Kagome's feelings for Inuyasha. And like the whole team as a whole, as a family, right? Like he no longer needs to be like a full demon anymore, but he just
they realize along the way that like him becoming a full demon, chasing that wish and chasing that goal is not a good thing. That doesn't result in a good end for him.
And does he realize that?
And well, he doesn't really necessarily get a chance. Obviously we got full spoiler alert here, but like
go to town on it.
Kagome wishes the Shikon jewel away.
Oh, crazy.
For it to be no longer a thing, to be destroyed. Basically, she takes it into her own hands and takes the opportunity away from Inuyasha from it ever happening.
Oh, see, now I kind of want to watch the rest of the show. Can you watch it and pick out all the fillers so I can find out what happens in the end?
You could probably just watch the final act. Like,
maybe I'll do that one day.
Honestly,
it's not like I'll miss much in between, eh?
Literally, you will
It's not like I'll be that
Literally,
confused.
you will not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I was going to bring up a lot about if we're going to move on to the time travel concept.
Okay.
We talked about a bunch of it already.
Are you talking about like the paradox of the potential, like it affecting the future?
Yeah, actually, that's something that didn't bother me because we covered Your Name last, and they did a really good job explaining that paradox and how it might affect or might not. And then we talked about by blowing up the town, nothing that happened in the town could affect the future, which was a smart mechanism. And in this one, they just didn't talk about it at all.
Yeah.
And I was kind of okay
just like
with
Kagome.
it.
She just wished it away.
I was kind of okay with that's not how I felt. I was kind of okay with it because how are you going to get around it in a show like this? You're not. So you just have to leave it be.
Yeah.
And that didn't bother me. I did acknowledge that it happened, but I was like, all right, moving on from that.
Because the move is not simply back in time.
But that also wasn't explained.
Yeah.
That was never told to me ever once. So how am I supposed to know that, man?
The reason that I know that is because I know that in actual feudal Japan and actual real life worlds, there are no demons. Okay, so therefore this one must be a different one.
Here's how I interpret it though, because a lot of people in Japan and Japanese culture who are like traditional believe that there were. So in my opinion, the present and the past in this show were same world where those people were right. There were demons back then.
The culture of believing.
That's how I take
the
it.
cultural belief. I'll give you
the
that
culture
much.
of belief is there in Japan and believing in like Oni and things like that. But like
yokai.
That's what influenced the stylistic choices of these otherworldly monsters and of these demons. That's where like their aesthetic came from, was from that culture.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a literal adaptation of what they believe.
Yeah.
Because even people that believed in those things believed that they were hidden, that they were secret, that they were tucked away. Not that there was some giant red demon guy like filling up water jugs down by the lake. You know what I mean? Like,
okay. So again, I don't know how I would ever figure that out. I guess based on common sense, if you ask Jay, but I didn't figure that out. And so to me, it just seemed like a giant hole in the plot. So anyways, as far as time travel, there were a couple moments that shook me a little bit as far as, and not just time travel, but the just traveling through the well kind of thing.
Yeah.
At one point, Inuyasha banishes her forever from the past.
Yeah, I fucking sticks to a huge tree in the well
for like an episode or two, and then she just gets back. It's like, I don't even remember how she got back.
Shippo, your best
Shippo,
friend.
yeah.
Oh, I love her so much. Him so much. So the problem with that bothered me for multiple reasons. One, I like didn't quite understand how. Like, I guess any demon can just go through the well and bring her back. Is that the way it works? Like, fucking skeleton, centipede, and Shippo now both have done it, and Inuyasha. So anybody can do it.
Actually, that's a good point. Like, I don't remember
The rules of the well.
Well, yeah,
what
the
are the
rule- yeah,
rules
That's
of
the
the
thing,
well?
right?
Yeah,
like
like,
the
I
whole, if that's your main mechanism on how she's getting back and forth, like you got to explain that a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Or
So
not if you ask
okay,
you guys, because you
I-
guys just accept things as they are.
Yeah, well, this is what I was saying. Like before, I was gonna say, like I feel like we were making progress because you were talking about the time travel things, and you were just like, okay, I can handle that, and just accept it.
Yeah.
And now I'm hearing otherwise.
Well, there's parts that I'm cool with that didn't bother me, and parts that bothered me. Like I'm a human being, so like I'm not absolute
No,
about anything.
I agree.
Yeah.
They could have been a little clear, I think, about
Yeah.
the mechanic of the well.
Totally,
Yeah,
I
but
agree.
it is true though. Like there's no like humans can't go through other than Kagome.
Right. Well, but I know
Shippo-
why, because
yeah.
she is a magical reincarnation,
Yeah.
so it's magic.
Yeah. So maybe the humans from
He's
that
getting
other
it.
world.
So only magical things can go back and forth, but that stands to reason that any demon could come through, which leads me to another question. While she's in the like banished to the present, demons are showing up in the present. Are they coming through the well?
No, those demons were always there. So if we're gonna talk just about the first season,
Yeah.
where like the masked demon,
Yeah.
that masked demon was always there.
Okay.
Right. So what happened was the shard somehow got lodged into a tree.
Yeah.
And then later on, that tree was turned into a mask, and that mask
Okay, I missed that.
came out. And this is what I'm saying. It's like where it's like back in time adjacent.
It's only back. I was just going to say that. By that logic, we have now not gone into a different dimension. We're only back in time. So Jay's wrong again, and I'm right again. Thank you very much.
No.
Yeah.
It can be both.
How though? If we see the scene in the past where the shard gets into a tree, and then we see the scene in the future where that shard becomes a mask and is a demon, and now there's demons in the present and demons in the past, we're in the same timeline.
You don't think that if like in feudal times, if we had knowledge of demons,
Yeah.
that modern day wouldn't look a little different than
Maybe, dude.
benign
You could be right.
normal Japan?
You could be right, but the fact still remains that there were demons in both periods of the timeline.
Yes.
So you can't use the presence of demons as evidence as another dimension anymore. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
in that number.
Yeah.
Considering somebody was going off about how many.
Yeah, there's a ton of demons. We were only in the present for like 2 episodes. For all I know, there's a shit ton there as well too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's that demon, and then there was.
camera turned off. Eh?
Oh, did it?
Yeah, I think so.
That's okay. We'll just keep going.
Okay.
I'll have to figure that out. in a
We're at
bit.
51 minutes, by the way.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna need a little bit more time on this one, to be honest with you, because I got a shit ton more to talk about. Let's move on then. Okay. So
Okay. So yeah. So there's that demon, and I think the other one, the one that looks like a sperm.
yeah, is the Soul Piper? I
the
think they
Soul
called
Piper,
it.
yeah. I think
that
that
was a
one's-
dark fucking episode, dude.
Yeah.
That was dark, dude. This little girl is like mad because her mom is giving her like very ill brother too much attention, and so she like sets the apartment on fire and dies. That was some dark shit, dude.
So my thing is with that particular one, that demon has always just been there, and it's not even really like a bad demon, right? It
Just
becomes
has a
bad.
purpose. Except wasn't
Yeah.
there something about its eyes opening and then it was dangerous?
Yeah, it becomes dangerous when like the spirit that the child that he's trying to like kind of pipe her away
Yeah.
to the afterlife. If there's a lot of regret or anger, the eyes continue to open, and
Yeah.
then all of a sudden he goes batty, right?
Okay, so I want to point out one really random thing that was super fucking funny. This old lady who is Kikyu's sister is just buried in the ground for a while. Just no, they don't even mention why or whatever. Inuyasha just buries her in the ground and goes, there, old lady, and walks away and leaves her there. And like for 2 or 3 episodes, she's just lying, staring at the ceiling, like thinking about shit. Fucking weird, dude. That was really strange. Okay, let's move on to something for Jay. We're going to
Okay.
talk about the Sesshomaru arc really quick. Or maybe not really quick.
Yeah,
It's my guy.
that's
So-
the guy.
This started pretty intense. He brings their mom into it, which again was like starting to like make things emotional for Inuyasha. And so, yeah, learning about his mom and dad and how he was raised and shit like that explained a lot about how Inuyasha is and probably why he's a whiny little bitch and probably why he needs that jewel so hard to prove himself to be a full demon because he got treated like shit for being a half demon his whole life. But I didn't see much of a change in him after he like had that whole scenario with his mom. Like his mom, it wasn't really his mom, right? It was like
exactly.
Yeah. But it still stirred up all the emotions in him. It made him like reminisce and think about all the past. And then at the end of the episodes, he's just still a whiny little bitch who wants that jewel again.
Yeah. But here's the thing, man. Like he was asleep for like, what was it, 50 years or something? Yeah, right? So he's not going to have any developmental growth that happens within those 50
You
years.
don't think, dude, that you seeing your mom come back to life and telling her you love her, she loves you, and reminiscing about your entire upbringing, which made you the way you are, is going to make you rethink the way you fucking are?
Well, maybe rethink, but at the same time, you still can't change your habits and your personality overnight like that, you know?
But that whole episode introduced the concept of the reason why he cares for humans and not demons, right? So you'd think he'd maybe start thinking about maybe not going full demon and not needing the jewel.
Yeah, but
especially since he now has a human who he cares about. So
but I think that's the point though, is that he's not going full, like he still wants to be full demon because it's been a need and want for him for so long, and he's battling that like internally, right? Because now he does, like you said, have somebody that he cares about, and maybe he's starting to learn that was the step, because like baby steps for this kid, man. Like he's got to learn that. Oh, you know what? Like, okay, there's one girl I'm down with. Yeah, you know, this grandma is, I guess, okay too.
She's the number one way to protect Kagome in his brain is
to go full demon.
Like he still thinks that's a good idea.
I guess so. Yeah,
it takes a little longer for him to realize that like that's not actually, like that's potentially going to be worse.
Yeah. I just felt like character development is something I think that so far a lot of the anime falls short on a little bit, and so in a situation like this, I expected something to happen. And it didn't. And I was like, that feels like an opportunity to give your character some development. Like you literally set it up for him to like change. Yeah. And then he didn't change.
But I know I sound like a broken record now, but like it's the same thing. This is like, they're trying to market this, right? So
so they can't change him. He has to stay the same.
He has to stay the same a little bit. Right, in order to do the monster of the week, and I think your gripe really comes down to how long these series can be just with the monster of the week.
Yeah, sure, and the monster of the week stunts the character development. Do you see what I mean? Because, like you just said, in order to keep doing monster of the week, he still has to be a whiny little fucking bitch who wants that jewel, and so he can't grow. But then I'm like, but you just gave him the literal foundations for growth in an episode or two in an arc, and then didn't give him the growth. And I was like, to me, that's a missed opportunity. And again, you're going to say they're 12-year-old boys and they don't give a shit. But I'm like, 12-year-old boys deserve good stories too. And they had an opportunity to give them one and they didn't. So that's my point there.
All right, let's move on from that.
Okay. Hold on. Before we move on from this arc, sorry, dude. There's a little bit more to talk about for Sesshomaru, okay? The Tessaiga dude is introduced, right? Which is literally the sword in the stone. Yeah. And literally a random simpleton can pull it out. Like, it's his dad's sword, right? Their dad's sword, and it was designed for a regular human to pull out.
No, it's not necessarily just a regular human. It's just that the sword was meant to protect humans. Yeah. So as long as you are using it to protect humans,
you could pull it out of the stone.
Yeah, pull it out of the stone, or you can use the full like power of it.
Yeah, right? That's like sword in the stone. It's pure of heart kind of thing. I think was what made that little kid pull it out or something like that.
I thought it was just.
But also pulling it is not the same as wielding it. As you realize.
That's true. She couldn't wield it. You're right. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, like that was kind of interesting. At one point they say, he goes, it looks like a fang, and I was like, nah, it looks like a sword.
I always felt the same way when that comes up.
Yeah, I was like, why did you say fang? Just because you're a dog, get out of here.
Does it though?
Yeah, it doesn't.
What fang?
It's just a sword with some fur on it. I have like a couple of funny notes I wrote down here that, again, I don't even remember, but I'm just going to read them really quick. Sucked into his mom's bosom. She melted. Skull tornado. Werewolf.
Skull tornado.
Like, out of context, some of this shit out of context, dude, is wacky as fuck.
Sounds like metal band names, like
Could be,
Skull
dude.
Tornado.
Could be, dude. Yeah, really crazy. And then if we're gonna go talk wacky, the tomb of his father is in his eye. Okay.
Yeah, that one was always a lot for me as well. I'm not gonna lie.
I agree with
that
you.
one was always like, what?
Here's a question: what's going on with this tomb while they're inside of it?
I know I
Pocket
saw
dimension.
Yeah, pocket dimension. That's it. All it is.
Okay, so what? Like, there's a little thing.
Pocket dimension.
I don't know what that means.
It just means that it's like a little dimension, like that you can just put like in a glass, for example,
Or an eyeball. Yeah.
and you can go visit it.
So did they
with
go inside his eyeball?
Technically, yeah.
So what's happening to his body while he's inside his eyeball? How do you go
like-
inside your own eyeball?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Because it's a dimensional transfer.
So is he just
It's not-
standing? He just standing still.
Probably.
And
He's
inside
probably-
his
he's
eyeball,
probably,
some
he's probably
shit's going on.
frozen in place.
Yeah, or
That's weird.
Or what's happening is that it was like a little black hole,
Yeah.
right inside his eyeball. Then he gets sucked into it. That black hole is like a gate.
How does
Or
that?
as I've established, that time and dimensional travel can be simultaneous. Perhaps the time they spend inside the eye
If the
is
dimension-
is an instant
Yeah.
in the normal dimension to him.
Sure.
And that it there's no long period where he's standing there.
Okay,
with
perhaps,
them.
but again, that's just perhaps.
Magic.
So,
Perhaps
my
magic.
thing is, there's a paradox here. How
Magic,
can
magic,
one
magic.
go in their eye with their eye?
Just accept it.
I'm just saying, there's a paradox here, dude.
Just accept
Yeah.
it, man.
We can, okay. I'm not going to, and we can move on from this now. I have a prediction here about Sesshomaru.
Okay.
Just to put it out there. Of course, we see Sesshomaru again.
Yeah.
He's an important character. Again, we already thought he was dead once, and surprise, not.
No.
So I have a feeling that him and Inuyasha together are going to have to beat Miroku. Inuyasha's not going to be able to do that on his own.
Yeah.
Am I right
Again,
about that?
They do end up working together. in
Okay,
the
yeah.
end,
I feel like that was being built from the beginning, to be honest with you. When you introduce brothers in a setting like this, and at first they're against each other, you kind of know they're going to come together for a greater good.
Especially
Yeah.
when there's a bigger bad at stake. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
At some point, like Naraku's got to be it.
Especially
Yeah.
when we also know that Naraku, and we'll get into Naraku in a minute too, was like kind of puppeting Sesshomaru at one
Yep.
point too, which
Yep.
probably pissed Sesshomaru off big time.
He doesn't like that.
You
Yeah.
also
I don't
see,
think he
see
would
a
like
lot of
that.
character development from even in the first season
Yeah.
of Sesshomaru, where he learns how to use his own sword.
Yeah.
Right, that heals the kid, and then all of a sudden he's got this soft spot. For,
Wait.
for humans.
Sorry, what are you talking about?
Oh shit, that's in season 2 or is it season 1?
Yeah, I don't think.
I don't know what you're talking about, Sesshomaru and his sword.
Oh yeah, that's
Tell me though, I'm
that's
curious.
Okay, so
I mean,
anyway.
I've got much more to talk about, but take a second.
Yeah.
Tenseiga.
Tenseiga, yeah. So Tenseiga is the opposite of Tetsaiga.
Okay.
Right. So Tetsaiga was meant to like kill demons and protect humans.
Yeah.
Tenseiga, you can't harm anyone. You essentially cure, or like you can bring even like people on the brink of death back.
Why is it a sword then?
But that's the thing, right? Like so in
Why is the sword for healing?
so here's the thing. So
It's a piece of the Tetsaiga,
Okay.
yeah.
first of all.
So yeah. So
Jay's
this is
very defensive about this
Yeah.
show for me.
No,
in this
I'm not.
episode.
I'm just, it's my boy says Shomaru. Like,
Okay.
So it happens in the second season. So I guess this is where like my
Yeah.
memory's fuzzy, right? So the second season they meet the swordsmith,
Yeah.
and when you're making a like katana in Japanese tradition, they usually make two.
Okay. They're
And
like a pair.
They're like a pair, and then whichever one is like the superior one is the one that gets passed down.
Okay.
Now, so Tensaiga is the twin to Tetsaiga, and it essentially when someone is on the brink of death,
Yeah.
the person wielding Tensaiga can see little demons trying to take them away, and you can kill those little demons so that person is not taken away to the other side anymore, right? So then they can be brought back.
You're able to kill the harbingers of death,
yeah.
and save people's souls.
Okay. Cool.
And then so in this season, the second
is.
season,
I
right?
literally, you were explaining that to me. I think I blacked out for a second. I have no idea what you were saying there. It's crazy.
But regardless,
Yeah.
he saves a little girl.
Yeah, okay.
And a little
Rin. Her name is Rin.
Rin. So, but like
She's
that,
adorable.
Yeah, she is really cute.
Yeah.
But it gives this softness to Sesshomaru.
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
That
I
he
get you.
never had.
That makes sense.
And then once he did that, he was able to wield the Tenseiga in like the way it's supposed to be.
I see.
And it's the opposite, the same way that the Tetsaiga was claimed to be able to kill 100 yokai with one swing, 100 demons with one swing.
Hundo D's.
The Tenseiga was said to be able to save 100 souls in one swing.
Okay.
By killing all of the pallbearers that would be bringing them
little
to the,
tiny
to
death
the
demons.
afterlife. Yeah.
Okay. We have more to talk about. So this is a good opportunity to talk about something that kind of like irked me about the show too.
Okay.
All the arcs are so short. Like it's Monster of the Week, Monster of the Week, Monster of the Week, 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Monster of the Week, Monster of the Week, Monster of the Week.
I know, I wanted some
maybe
to be
3
a lot
episodes.
longer.
Me
Yeah.
too, dude.
Yeah.
So there's 2.5 more arcs I want to get into. Okay, if you guys can like bear with me a little bit longer. So now we're talking about Kiki Reincarnation, which, as far as I'm concerned, is an arc. So definitely could have been a lot longer. It got like 2 episodes, and then like a follow up, maybe like 10 episodes later.
Yeah.
Right? That's all I got from it. Okay. And they kind of rewrite the story a bit on this arc, which actually does finally give a little bit of character growth to Inuyasha. So he's capable of caring for someone that isn't his mom. Okay. We established that. And it's like, obviously through Kagome as well too. And from the flashback, you get to understand that. And so now I have some questions.
Okay.
How can Kagome and Kikyu exist at the same time if they have the same soul?
Okay. So what happened was Kagome's soul was sucked out, but only a piece of it needed to stay in Kikyo's body, that little clay body.
So you're talking about splitting souls.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's how, but that's the thing, right? So
Yeah.
Kagome and Kikyo, that's how she was able to stay.
Yeah. Okay. And then my next question is, I guess you kind of established this, and the answer is probably magic, but like the jewel, which ended up in Kagome's body when she like was born, I guess, or maybe like when she got to feudal Japan. I don't know when it ended up there, some magical way. Why is it not still in Kikyu's body if she still exists and her body's still there?
No, because Kikyo's body was made by that witch.
Made of clay. So it's
Made
not
of
actually
clay.
her body.
It's not
you're saying.
yeah, it was like a reincarnate, like it's a doll, essentially.
I think I was phasing out a bit at this point, to be honest. There's a lot of this show at this point, dude. A lot of this show. Yeah, okay. And again, the last thing I'll say about this arc is like the ending was very anticlimactic. Obviously, we know Inuyasha has to choose between the 2 of them because only one of them can keep the soul, because in the end, there's one whole soul that has to go to one body. And like, there's no fight or battle in this. He just chooses. He's like, that one.
Yeah. Yeah. But
You know
I
what I
also
mean?
think,
Give me a
too,
battle.
though, like at the end of the season, also, it was finally able to bring all the characters into play.
Yeah.
Right. So, like, with Sango, like, Sango's my favorite character in this whole thing.
I like Sango a lot too, actually.
Yeah. Sango and,
Maybe one of the only characters that's likable,
yeah.
in my opinion. Yeah, to be honest with you.
Yeah, she's morally just. She's very capable. She's
Super
pretty
badass. Yeah.
yeah.
Everyone else is kind of annoying or whiny, or like I could just not have them in at all and be fine with it. Like,
Nah, but she needs Miroku to kind of like balance her out.
Yeah.
To give her somebody to fucking.
who does?
Miroku, like,
Sango.
Oh, but
Sango,
that's the
Their
problem. Is
balance
Sango
is
doesn't really get
fantastic.
introduced till the end of the season,
Right,
and so I didn't really get any of that dynamic. and so to
yeah,
me,
that's right.
Miroku was just
Miroku,
like
yeah.
completely useless. Like
No,
very.
he's just like the
needless.
counterbalance to like Sango.
yeah, because
okay.
Miroku is just kind of like this, like, that's another trope right there, like this fraternizing monk.
Is lecherous.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like the womanizing monk. And
Yeah.
like, yeah. Right. So,
Yeah, creepy, pervy wizard.
Yes.
That's how I took it from him. Yeah,
He
to
is
be honest
right,
with you.
right out of the gate. Dude.
Yeah, right away. Yeah,
Yeah.
And like it never ends. Sometimes you think like, oh, maybe, and then he says something like real pervy, and,
And
you're
he's
like, get the fuck
unabashed
out of here,
too.
buddy.
Right?
Yeah.
He doesn't hide it at all.
Yeah.
He's just like
Yeah.
straight up. This is what I'm like.
But he doesn't think it's pervy. He thinks it's like he thinks it's noble in a weird way. Like I think he felt like he's being a good guy.
Sure.
I
Nobody's ever
think
told
he
him.
knows. I think he knows. He knows, like, he's just trying to get some, right? Like,
Check out my black hole with my hands.
Yeah, like, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
He knows.
Okay.
Also, the other character that I love too
Yeah.
is the fucking cute little cat. What's their name?
Kilala.
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 Yeah, I like that too. That was
Yeah,
badass.
fucking- that
Who
cat's-
turns out like is like important to the backstory,
Oh yeah.
and you don't realize that until the Jewel backstory arc, which was the last couple episodes, which we'll get into after we talk about Naraku. So again, only having seen one season, I assume Naraku is a longer arc. And like full disclosure, in a conversation with Jay, he did tell me while I was still kind of in the middle of the show, that they spend a lot of fucking time chasing Miroku down.
Yeah.
Pretty much the whole show.
Yeah, so I did know
the
that.
whole premise of the show.
His backstory is kind of fucking nuts. He's like a regular ass dude who's dying.
Yeah.
So they put him in a cave, and he convinces a bunch of demons.
No, he was already in the cave, and they found him there.
Oh, okay. Well, anyways, he's in a cave. Doesn't really matter how he got in there. In fact, like, I guess they're not going to tell me. Some sort of magic. So he convinces a bunch of demons to eat him, and instead of the demons getting any more powerful, he gets all the power.
Yeah, so he like gives up his soul in a way.
Did they shit him out, and he's like now a super powerful demon shit?
No, so he like gives his soul in order to get the power. It's like making a deal with the devil, but instead of making a deal with the devil, you're making a deal with the fucking
a bunch of demons that eat you.
Yeah, that he like essentially he's kind of like Oogie Boogie from fucking Nightmare Before Christmas, where he's just full of demons.
It just doesn't seem like a good deal for those demons.
No, it really wasn't.
Like they must have been dumb as shit.
They get one human soul.
Yeah.
And in return, he gets transformed into Naraku.
But they didn't get to do anything with the soul because they're just either what are they inside him or dead?
They eat the soul. They consume it, and then
they die happy.
And then he transforms, and then he's basically of the demons at that point.
Okay.
Like,
it just didn't seem like a fair trade. He got a lot. And they didn't seem to get much.
It was but that's the enticing part of it, right? Like that's the temptation in it for him.
Okay, fair enough. And somehow he was able to convince them, even though he's just dying. Yeah. But I guess like a dying soul is like demons were into it. Anyway, so here's another thing about Naraku. He's pretty strong, apparently. They're like building him up to be the main bad guy. But anytime he's confronted with Inuyasha, he just fucking runs away. And I'm like, what's going on here? Because if you're like a strong and confident demon, why don't you fucking fight this guy?
Because they need to stretch it over 100
I know they need to, but again, that's my exact point.
They need 100 plus episodes,
well, okay.
And that's my point. It's just poor writing. If you're going to write a strong character, have a battle. And have a reason why he can't battle him, maybe. He just keeps running away.
No, but they do battle at one point, right?
No, that's a fake Naraku.
No.
Are you talking about the weird fucking tree roots octopus demon?
Okay, there's that one, but like, there's also another one. This is in the second season, though.
Yeah,
they do battle, and he like gets like Naraku gets his whole fucking like half his body like torn to shreds.
Okay, well I didn't get there. Yeah, that's the point.
So there's definitely some clashes along the way.
I don't doubt it.
But as far as anything decisive, it really honestly doesn't happen until the very end.
They just didn't make him look very strong. Like he's sneaky as fuck. I'll give him that. He's like coming up with weird schemes and plans to like defeat Inuyasha by like empowering other demons, but like he's not doing any of the work himself, and he's not really making me feel like if it came down to one-on-one that he would win. Well, he just keeps running away. So to me,
he's a puppet master. That's the whole point, right?
Okay,
like,
I get it.
His goal was to get the jewel, and him with the complete jewel
is super badass. Probably
nobody has any contemplation of what that's like because he never gets it,
including me, who never watched the end of the show.
But like,
okay.
But yeah, and then that's when it's revealed that he's actually a spider demon.
Oh, weird. Wait, didn't they show a spider tattoo?
Yeah, on his
back. Was that a thing? Yeah, okay, I remember that.
A scar.
Okay.
Yeah.
That explains it. Anyways, I don't know. There's not much more to talk about Naraku. Like, it's a pretty self-explanatory story. He's a puppet master. He's like...
I personally was a really big fan of the ape cloak that he kind of wore. Like there was this obscuring of him for so long, and like when I was watching it as a kid,
so what's under that fucking cloak?
Literally, that was what it was like. It was very intriguing, and it was kind of fucking scary. Like, why are they hiding this? Like this anime that's showing me like centipede lady boobs.
Yeah.
Why are they hiding this guy under this cloak? That must be really terrifying.
I got that vibe too. And I guess like really my gripe is unfounded because of only having watched one season. Because my gripe in the end is exactly related to that. Is like he's under that thing, but there was like no delivery. And I guess in the end you do get a delivery at some point.
Yeah, it's just like the journey to getting there plateaus. The journey to getting there plateaus for a really long time.
Yeah.
And then you get it. But it's like, can you hang on?
Yeah.
That's so many of these serialized animes are just like, can you hang on?
Yeah.
I've heard,
I could not, man.
I've
Even
heard
one
so
season.
many are worth it in the end, dude. And the ones that I have actually watched all the way through, like Dragon Ball and whatnot, I do think are worth it in the end. But
but that's the thing. I feel like Dragon Ball, there was a bit more. Like, I love Inuyasha, don't get me wrong, but Dragon Ball has more of a payoff, even though like you have to wait 3 episodes to fucking power up one move.
Yeah.
But it's true though. Like any of these shonens, like even with Naruto and how much filler there is, right? It's all about hanging on, like perseverance, right? So,
I don't have it in me anymore, dude. Maybe again when I was a kid, but Not now. I don't got it anymore. I had a prediction there, but we already kind of covered it. I said in the end, Sesshomaru and Inuyasha are going to fuck up Miroku and destroy him. Is that the case?
Yes and no. I mean, they team up and they work against him for sure, but like it's ultimately a kind of Kagome who's like the real hero.
There you go.
Okay. So we're gonna move into the last little arc.
Okay.
It's the Jewel backstory,
Yeah.
which is fucking nonsense, dude.
What do you mean it's nonsense?
Let me try and explain it to you the way that I understand it. Okay. So the priestess,
Yeah.
okay, and everybody's soul is made up of 4 souls:
Yeah.
courage, friendship, wisdom, and love.
Yeah.
Right away, get the fuck out of here with that shit. Okay? That's some ridiculous shit, okay?
Why? What's
Dude,
wrong with that?
It's just so,
It
I don't know, man.
It's cheesy. It's supposed to be cheesy.
Yeah. That annoyed me.
This is there's a certain level of campiness that these old animes kind of come with.
Okay.
And that's kind of part of the charm of it, right?
Okay, well, let's just state here again that as a kid, probably wouldn't have thought twice about that. As a grown-ass man, get out of here with courage, friendship, wisdom, and love. It's just ridiculous. And I get, like, they're describing the team.
Yes.
Okay, so I get that the team is embodying what it means to have a healthy soul, I guess, right? So I get what they're saying there. That just popped into my head now. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but right away when they said that, I was like, real frustrated that they're going to explain a soul like that. So let me keep explaining, okay?
Okay.
She's fighting a shit ton of demons.
Yeah.
One of them lands a death blow, and so she pops her soul out, her soul that is actually 4 souls, somehow. And it becomes the jewel.
Yeah.
Right? And somehow also turns her and all the demons to stone.
Yeah.
This is magic?
Yeah.
Okay, magic.
That's exactly it. It's fucking magic.
Yeah. And so now inside the stone, that battle that turned to stone is still raging on to this day.
Because she trapped the souls of everybody in the jewel and all the power in the jewel.
So to this day still, that battle's still raging on, even though the jewel is broken to a million shards.
Yeah, because now it's in like a physical form, right? And so but souls don't have to have physical form.
But she made hers into one.
Well, it made it into one.
It's a vessel. It's a container for this.
Yeah.
Again,
and now it's scattered across the thing, right?
The vessel is.
But
so where's that battle happening? Are you going to say pocket dimension again?
You bet your ass I am, Jordy.
You guys are just making things up to explain things that it.
No,
makes sense.
maybe pocket dimension is again maybe not the exact term, but like this.
But the concept of that,
the concept of that being that this is something that is taking place within this this. Undescribed space, this spiritual space, this plane that exists, and that that's why if you have a shard of it, you can access a part of the power that is raging out of that battle.
Sure.
And if you're good, it's good power because you're pulling that from the good souls in that shell, in that vessel,
and not from the demons that are inside.
If you're a demon, then you're pulling from the demons.
I'll take that. So then somehow, thanks to Myoga, who is fucked, by the way.
Yeah, he's a weird character. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't even know what he did, but he fucked everything up there. The priestess and the demon spirits come back to life inside the cave. So now they're no longer in the jewel.
Right?
That's what happens. I watched it. The souls are now in the cave fighting, no longer in the jewel, okay?
Yeah.
So does that mean all the shards that are now scattered are powerless?
No.
Why not? Because to me, I would say yes.
Yo, this was your fucking like death kill, wasn't it?
There were a lot of death kills in here, but this one was really fucking crazy, dude. It's like the whole concept of the jewel fell apart there in this scene to me, to be honest with you, because I think what they tried to do was explain how it was created, but they ruined what it was doing for the show up until this point, right? And so, like, I don't know, it just made absolutely no sense to me at the end there, dude.
I mean, for the sake of argument, like you just accept it and you move along so that you can enjoy the monster of the week.
You guys kind of like
except that I don't accept it and I don't enjoy the monster of the week. What's that?
It's the MacGuffin, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's a trope in so much film.
The power was in you all along.
But it's the thing that they're always chasing. It's like it's the one thing that they need. You know what I mean, the same way the One Ring was. And let me tell you, as the show goes on, even weirder shit goes on with the Jewel. Okay, the Jewel like makes up some crazy shit. Even towards the end, some crazy shit goes on with the Jewel, and you're like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah,
like that didn't happen before. What's going on?
I feel like they're just
it's their trump card, man.
they're doing what you guys are doing. They're making shit up as they go along to make the show make sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
And
usually,
I'm not here for it.
Yeah, usually
That's what I'm saying.
Because manga is such a long running like series.
When you
and
get
there were, like,
serialization, strap
Yeah.
in, bro.
Yeah, like that's the thing,
Strap
right? Like shit happens, you know, you get lost in all these different storytellings, these different details,
Yeah.
and you got to come back to them at some point.
Do you know what you're explaining to me?
What?
A badly written show. You know what I mean? Because you get serialized, but you still have to write a good story and make a good show. And if you're just
fair.
confusing me and you're saying, "Oh, it's because we got serialized," that's no excuse.
Yeah.
You still make a good show.
No, but unfortunately, it does become an excuse because that's the format.
That's
Yeah.
That's
it's the
just
formula.
the format, dude. Like it's
Format
like,
and formula for a lot of like old school anime like this.
What are you're gonna stifle your own success because you want to preserve the integrity of your story about the fox boy,
You know?
and the demon man?
A good show would. You know what I mean? A good show with integrity would.
Name one.
A show that stopped when it should have? I don't know, dude. But there are some, dude. Especially nowadays in the world of limited series.
Yeah.
A lot of shows are just one season nowadays. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? That happens.
Because they have reference points
And-
to
and
know
they're-
what not to do.
Yeah.
Exactly, but they're
They were
written
figuring it
well.
out
But
then.
they're written well, okay? And they're all encapsulated. And so in a show like this, and like many, I'll say a lot of modern shows do the same thing, but that doesn't make them good. That makes them poor. And maybe they started good.
Yeah.
Maybe this show started good, but it falls apart.
But it's what you're measuring it up against, right? Like, you know, somebody gets told, "Hey, you're getting a 24 episode anime."
Yeah.
You can write a story for 24 episodes. You get told, "Hey, we're gonna give you like 8 episodes, and if it's good, we'll give you more." And then when you find out what the more is, and they're like, "Yeah, it's like 150."
Yeah.
Now you
Yeah.
got to make that work, or your thing falls apart in your hands.
You know, though, but if you're like a creative person with integrity, you're gonna say that show's done, and if I keep writing it, it will be poor. I will write you something new that will be really good, and you'll buy that from me
And
instead.
in one of the most competitive fields on the
Yeah.
planet, aka being a mangaka or an anime creator,
Yeah,
It's
you just lost all
get
of your
it.
work forever.
Okay.
not to
Goodbye.
mention your work, but also your relevance in the industry.
sure. But what
Right,
if your
like-
next thing is even better, dude? And you wasted all your time writing this shit
It's
version of your
yo,
show that was once good.
That
can
whole
do that
industry
next
is
bet- you can-
fucking cutthroat, man.
You can do that next better
Yeah.
thing with the notoriety and the money that you generate from doing that serialized thing. Then you can move on and do it.
I understand the reasoning
means
behind
to
doing
an
it this
end.
way.
Yeah.
Just all I'm saying is that it ruins it for me, and I'm not the kind of person that's going to watch a show that's falling apart.
I think for me, like knowing how daunting a task it must
Yeah.
be to make a show that runs this long, that has this big an episode count, I think it's incredible how well it holds itself together despite that. I think
Sure.
it's very impressive, and I think that it's a huge task that nobody would want to undertake. I think
You're probably right.
I think, you know, a great show like Loki or something on Disney Plus, it's 6 episodes. Good for that show. If it
Yeah.
was 600 episodes,
Yeah.
you know how bad that show would get eventually.
Yeah. It'd
be fucking bad,
Doesn't
man.
matter what it is.
Yeah, it'd
right?
be bad. You're right.
You condense this entire story, all 100 and some odd episodes, down to 24 episodes.
Yeah,
That's probably the tightest 24 episodes of anime you're probably ever gonna get.
yeah, yeah.
I agree. It's not the best format, and it's probably something that we should keep away from for you.
No,
moving
keep it coming,
forward.
and I'll just keep hammering at it. To be honest with you, I'm okay with that.
But I know a lot of people, dude, who just flat out will not like. Is it serialized? Yes. Okay, I'm not watching it.
Yeah,
I
that's
know
true.
a lot of
Yeah, a
people
lot
who
of people
take
will.
that road.
And you know, if we weren't
Yeah.
watching this show, I'd probably be that guy too.
Yeah.
If we weren't making this podcast,
Making this podcast.
I'd be
Yeah.
that guy too.
It-
That being
it's true.
said, I fucking love ragging on this shit with you guys.
Yeah.
So keep it coming. Keep it coming. I have one last point pretty
Okay,
much
well-
before we end up. They're going to close a whole season after that whole battle of the jewel spirits shit inside the jewel.
Yeah.
With a Monster of the Week episode.
Yeah.
You're going to
then
give me a
it's gonna-
fucking fish monster as the last episode of a season?
I thought
Yeah.
it was a little strange too. But
The-
like
you know, I
the
didn't-
official closing of that. But
Come on. Why?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like they did that on purpose because it kind of helps give them a little bit of a break so that when you come back into the second season, it's on an arc. Like,
True, but to me, that's not how you build hype in a show. You
No,
end
it's
off on
not.
something big. You know what I mean? And
that's
they
true.
did end off on something big, and then they just gave me a fish monster. And I'm just like, honestly, next time, don't give me the fish monster, and I'll be okay.
So what kind of fish monster anime can we suggest for Jordy?
Princess Jellyfish.
We're steering clear of fish monsters.
Yeah, we're gonna do Princess
from this
Jellyfish
point onward. Okay, we have to now. We've spent a lot of time on plot. Let's take a second to talk about characters.
Okay.
I have a prediction right off the bat. Please tell me Inuyasha and Kagome hook up.
The J? Because I don't think they do.
They live happily ever after. Dude.
Okay, I need
Yeah.
that.
Well, actually, yeah, they
I needed
do.
to know that.
Because they just released a fucking the kids season where they have
Like they
their
have kids?
and stuff. Yeah.
Are their kids half dog demon?
Yep.
Princess,
here's my next
It's
question.
called Princess Half Demon is
Yeah.
like the translation.
Here's my next question: is that bestiality?
Partially.
Did she fuck a dog?
No.
I mean, he has ears.
Yeah.
It's one quarter bestiality.
Yeah, 1/4.
Yeah, that's too much bestiality.
No.
That's fair.
For you.
What are you trying to say here?
I think the reality is in that in 2021, that's not enough bestiality for some of our viewers.
Yeah.
Or some of our hosts.
Yo, fucking
let me tell you,
Rising of the Shield Hero, Raftalia, she's waifu, okay?
Dude, the dog ears thing that goes on in this show,
Yeah.
it birthed a lot of furries, dude.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yikes.
Yeah. Well, there's like a whole thing of like rabbit girls and like little, I don't know,
Little fucking fox people.
Yeah, like wearing cat ears and
Yeah.
stuff like that. It birthed a whole genre of that.
But that's not actual dogs. She fucked an actual half dog.
Dog demon.
Okay.
Dog
That's
demon.
In human form.
worse,
Yeah.
I think. I think that's worse.
Or maybe they slept together when his hair went black and he was full human.
Oh yeah, I forgot he did that for a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Maybe.
yeah, we can speculate.
Either way, it's worth addressing.
They would have looked so similar with his hair black like that.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, that's weird too, actually. They did do a good job, if we're going to talk about characters, about making her and Kikyo look similar. So like even before I knew about the reincarnation thing, and then when she came back to life, I was like, oh yeah, that was pretty cool the way they did that. They also, his mom looked a lot like Kikyo and Kagome, and I was
But
like,
you know
that's a
what?
little Freudian.
That's a lot of this stuff is very Freudian, but also the anime style, like a lot of the look,
They're similar.
very very similar
Sure.
because there's only so much you can do with that kind of style.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fair
like, look at
enough.
that picture. Like Sango and Miroku have the exact same face.
Yeah.
And I'm sure
Just
that's
at a
intentional
different
because,
angle.
like you said, they're kind of counterparts as characters,
They are,
right?
yeah.
So I'm sure that's intentional to an extent, which is actually kind of cool. To be honest with you.
I
Who's
was
that
always
person in the corner? Is that their mom?
Top corner.
No, that's
Kikyo.
Kikyo.
Oh shit! See, they look exactly the same.
See, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I was always like, I mean, I've talked a lot of hype about him, but like I always really like Sesshomaru's design, like the shoulder armor, like
He definitely has the most going on. A lot of the rest of them have kind of. I actually thought that at first about Inuyasha too. His red robe is like very plain for a main
Yeah.
character of a show, right?
But
Like-
But
Sesshomaru,
also
like,
very
something-
cool being out of a fucking fire rat fur.
oh yeah, I forgot about
Yeah.
that.
But here's the thing: a
forgot
lot of
about that.
character design is really based around their outfits.
Yeah.
Right, like, and the nice thing too is that Kagome actually has some outfit changes, where in a lot of anime, like every character does not.
Yeah.
Right, so
Does she have though? No, she's always wearing that schoolgirl outfit.
well, sometimes she's wearing a
Some,
sweater,
yeah.
sometimes
Yeah.
she's wearing pajamas.
Yeah,
like,
there was a scene. I'm just going to bring this up. I wasn't going to bring it up. Now that you're mentioning it, where she's in school and in her gym class, the guys are all wearing shorts, whatever, and the girls are all wearing sweaters and bikini bottoms.
Yep.
Is that a gym uniform in Japan for school, or is that
No,
Are they
but
just
it's,
creeps in the
it's
show?
just yeah, that's just
comment.
it.
okay? That was strange. I don't know if there's other characters we should touch on. We didn't really talk much about Miyoga, who was kind of a fucking weird character, dude.
Yeah, but he's not
Inuyasha. It's me.
Hey, he's right over here. That's your name now, Miyoga. He's kind of like a drunk Jiminy Cricket.
Yeah, he
That's
totally
kind of
is.
how I pictured him. To be
very
honest
like
with you.
drunken master.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like I'm gonna teach you, but I'm not gonna teach you. But I'm gonna act a fool to get away. But I'm
Yeah,
not
he keeps
actually,
running away too. Yeah, and then Inuyasha squishes him. He's wee wee wee. wee. I was like, okay, fine. We also didn't talk much about Miroku and his fucking hand thing.
Yeah.
Does he deserve it?
No, dude, he's kind of such a
There
nothing
you go.
character, man. And like his like kryptonite is just like wasps.
Yeah.
Again,
there's wasps
who's
in my hole.
writing this shit, dude? Who's writing this shit?
For wasps.
There was watch for wasps. There's a couple of like, not even a couple. I'd say one character that just like came up out of nowhere and then disappeared. There was like a giant raccoon character,
Yeah, that's Miroku's like little side buddy.
but he was only in one episode, and he like also turns into a giant yellow sperm that they ride.
yeah, but
Again,
he's just
dude.
kind of like a side character that he kind of pops up every so often. That is kind of like a devout like follower of Miroku.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. It was just that like shook me. I was like, they're riding this yellow sperm. I was like, what is that? And then the next scene later, I was like, oh, it's a giant raccoon. It's like, that explains it.
Yeah, but raccoons are actually pretty. I don't know if it was a raccoon or if it was supposed to be a red panda.
I don't know. Looked like
Yeah.
a raccoon.
Yeah, it has a very similar look.
What? So like, how do you think Miroku ends up?
I don't care, dude.
No.
To be honest with you, I don't know. Couldn't even wager a guess.
Really?
Like, tell me if is it
Okay.
interesting?
I don't know. What do you think happens to Sango?
I only met Sango for like a couple episodes, to be honest.
that's
She
fair,
only
that's
showed up
fair.
towards the end. I did point out that like we talked about Power Rangers a lot in this episode. She's the Green Ranger.
She is the Green Ranger.
Dude, she was created
At
by
the
the bad
beginning.
guy.
Yeah.
She's powered by the bad guy. She was given a jewel shard.
Yeah.
Right? And then she realizes he's the bad guy and joins the good team.
Yeah.
100%.
All the more reason to like Sango.
Yeah. Sango
Until you
is the
find
best.
out she marries Miroku.
You know, even good people are allowed to make poor choices. At least tell me they live happily ever after.
Of course they do. Come on, man.
don't
They
know.
see each other.
Yeah, it's a shonen, man. They always do.
by the end.
Yeah, cool. All right. Well, we covered all my notes, dude.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So there we go. Okay, so final thoughts then.
Again, the saving grace of this show is its nostalgia value.
Yeah.
The 90s, I'll sound like a broken record, but that Saturday morning cartoon feeling was really what kept me watching. That being said, I'm not really able to watch a lot of those Saturday morning cartoons that I did watch even when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So
that's
I got the feeling, but also like was pretty done with it pretty quick.
fair. Okay.
Yeah.
So 1 out of 10.
I'm gonna give it a 5. And I feel like that might even be generous for me, to be honest with you.
Come on, a 5?
You heard all my reasons why already, dude.
Fine,
Yeah.
fine. What about you, Jay?
Yeah, I mean, I have a ton of nostalgia for like real nostalgia for this that like really does bring me back, and I feel very fondly for this one still. That said, I see its faults, and I see that it is a very typical serialized by the books kind of anime, so that's gonna lose some points.
I don't know, man. The nostalgia keeps it alive for me a little bit.
I'm gonna give it a 7.5.
Yeah, I was gonna say same, like a 7.5 is a good number for this one.
All right.
But it's still, because of the nostalgia factor, it's nice to kind of go back and revisit.
Sure.
Right,
Like,
so-
I feel like you would give it lower points if you both hadn't watched it when you were children.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
100%.
So like again,
That
it has nostalgia.
1000%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that's the problem, right? Like for us, it's the fact that a lot of these animes that we're kind of revisiting for this podcast
Yeah.
is because we want to be nostalgic.
Yeah.
Right?
Totally.
But
Even the new ones kind of have that harken back to watching them when you were a kid, right?
Yeah.
So you still get that nostalgic vibe because it's the world you grew up in, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And also, like, I think, you know, for me, like, when I got into this show and I started watching this show, I was so into just like the visual styling of anime at the time.
Yeah.
And this was a particularly like striking one. It was better animated and better stylized than Pokemon or Digimon
Yeah.
or Monster Rancher or any of
Yeah.
the other ones that
I'll
I
give you that
watched
100%,
as a
yeah.
kid, right? It was
Metabots, yeah, like-
visually more adult and mature and comic booky, and I just loved the visual style so much.
I
And when
mean-
that's going on, you can kind of push through a lot more of the shit when you're just there to appreciate
Yeah.
how crazy the next demon's gonna look,
Sure.
or what's gonna happen when Shomaru turns into a dog. Like, you
Yeah.
know, like
Yeah.
how badass was that? You know,
They do
Like,
also, they give you a lot to want to keep watching for. Unfortunately, they like stretch it out so long that, again, as a grown man, I was over it before I had a chance to have any of that
Any of
delivered.
that, yeah.
And I will not be watching this show anymore, so I will not see any of that stuff occur. But that being said, as a kid, I could see you like needing to keep watching and enjoying the Monster of the Week episodes for what they are in order to figure out what's going to happen to these characters. And they've introduced these like, scenarios that are going to have to wrap up eventually, and you're going to want to see how, right? Yeah.
But don't get me wrong, even as a kid, man, you ask yourself, like, holy shit, when is this show going to end? Like, I feel like I've been watching this for most of my entire life at this point.
Yeah.
Well, it's like,
And
again, like when we're
still
talking
going.
about Naruto, right? Like you had Kid Naruto and then you go into Shippuden and like
And now
it
there's
just goes
Boruto, where he's a dad. Oh my
yeah, like
God.
it just keeps going. And like,
Yeah.
again, like with the fillers and stuff like that. But that on that note, with
Can I
those
just point out really quickly that you both just agreed with me
fuck you.
greatly? You know what I mean?
I mostly agree with you, actually.
Yeah.
Like, most
Yeah.
of your points are kind of on the nose. Like,
You're
your
both-
criticisms
yeah.
are valid in this
Well,
one.
thank you. I appreciate that.
It's true though. Like with serialized stuff, like I just like arguing with you because
I know.
you love
I fucking enjoy it too, dude. That's why I fucking scratch your mosquito bites throughout the whole show. So yeah, I get
And
you.
I like
Yeah.
that you didn't once shit talk any of the artistic choices made by this show.
No, that,
Yeah, the
again, that was
artistic
its
was-
saving grace, dude.
Yeah.
It was giving me all those 90s
It
vibes.
looks so
I've said
good.
it 100 times, but it really did. It like felt like a good show as I was watching it.
Yeah.
It just didn't watch like a good
And
show.
Sango's
Yeah.
Sango's waifu. Sango's waifu.
Yeah, she is though. She's the only one.
Yeah, she
Again,
really is the
I
only
think she's
one.
the only character I like gave a shit about in the
Yeah.
end. After watching 27 episodes.
She's introduced right at the tail end, and you're like,
Yeah.
I like this one.
Yeah, exactly.
Show's
Like,
over.
aw, okay, move on. And she has that cool cat, which we
Yeah,
talked about.
that's
So
But
yeah.
yeah.
Speaking of cats, why don't you guys grab your cats?
Less sneaky, my friend.
Yeah, that was a little more
continue.
heavy-handed there, buddy. I think you Sango boomeranged us with that one. Big fucking boomerang.
Yeah. Okay. So, Jay, where can people find you?
Check out Hangar 91, hanger91.bigcartel.com. Get yourself some anime gear, some clothes, some goodies, some art, that
Yeah.
stuff.
How about you, Jordy?
I'm on Instagram at Reaching In, and I do some stuff, but mostly it's just me and my family and my dog.
Or you can find me on Instagram at Korean Barbecue 86. Is it Korean Barbecue? I can't even fucking remember my own Instagram.
Edit this part out.
You should know
Anyways,
by
thank you
now.
guys for watching.
Yeah. Subscribe.
We're Anime Shmanime, and we'll see you again next time.
Yeah. Bye.
See ya.